So, by attaining all of these other parts, I gradually come closer to the source, to the Creator, and I begin to perceive Him as the one who creates and maintains all of these levels, inanimate, vegetative, animate, and human. That is why it is written, from yourself you will know the Creator.
Is this a gradual transition?
Yes, it's a step-by-step process because we develop through this system. We evolved from the inanimate vegetative to animate to human, and now we're evolving further to the Creator.
And if we're talking about in time interval, how did this develop?
It's always been that way. It's like a pyramid: inanimate, vegetative, animate, and human, and then the Creator is the peak, the top of the pyramid.
Okay, there's a question from Bishkek. It turns out that initially there is no Creator.
There is no Creator, of course. Where is He?
Okay, but before I started moving towards Him, that means that He doesn't exist yet, right?
He doesn't exist in my sensations and my perception. Only after I have developed sufficiently, I reveal the Creator. But there is no man, there is no Creator.
So when you shock everyone, telling everyone that Creator doesn't exist, it means that what you just explained, He exists. It's just that I don't perceive Him, right?
Well, if I don't perceive Him, what does it mean that He doesn't exist? It's a very serious matter.
Okay, but there are certain observed phenomena that exist, but I don't feel them.
How do you know about them?
Well, someone wrote about them, someone that perceived them.
Who? Who sensed them? Who found them? It's all in you. See, this is the problem. We're talking about perceiving reality, and how a Kabbalist gradually perceives reality. Of course, we can stop and not talk about it and say that this is all just all sorts of nonsense and imaginings. None of it is proven, and it cannot be, and so on. But Kabbalah talks about this. If we take an hour, a week, for this method, for this theory, for this pseudoscience, we can talk about it. We can dedicate time to it, but the way that it tells us to do it, I feel that we shouldn't hide anything. We should be open and forthright to our audience, and they will then decide and learn how to adapt these things.
It's a difficult topic, perception of reality, especially when we teach it to others, when we say that there was no such thing as history, this whole history is inside of us, and they see how archaeologists find these bones of dinosaurs.
I wouldn't do that. Why just bother them? Why, those undeveloped brains, burden them? I'm talking about undeveloped in terms of this.
Now, this is interesting. It's just I'm not sure how to use it in life.
It's not even interesting. It's interesting when the opportunity to attain opens up before me. When there is no such opportunity, then it's just this fulfillment.
No, forget the dinosaurs. But when in Talmud it says in 3rd century of our era that everyone's judged according to their faults, which means that all these shortcomings that I see in the world are within me. How do I even look at that?
Yes.
How can this exist?
So you're big. You have all the flaws are in you.
Okay, but what do I do with all of this?
Oh, that's a different question. This is why Kabbalah is revealed, to tell you that all the flaws are in you.
What do I do with all this information?
Then you correct yourself, start correcting yourself, as Kabbalah writes, and you will discover that the world is absolutely whole and perfect. When you become perfect and whole, you will discover it.
There's a question. Knowledge of the spiritual cannot bring harm.
No. If we're talking about the spiritual that the Kabbalah talks about, no, it cannot be. because you can only receive knowledge, wisdom, to the extent that you have a screen, and it's anti-egoistic, meaning you cannot do any harm to others.
So you can read as much as you want, and you can read all this secret knowledge, until you have a screen, then it doesn't really matter. Question from St. Petersburg. In Kabbalah, what is the future and the next world mean? How does it differ from our current world?
The future world, the world to come, is the one that I will attain when I study Kabbalah. It's a future because it's on the next level of perception. It's a real world. I merely need to change my own qualities a bit, from reception to bestowal, to invert them, and I will see the world, the future world.
If a soul is a quality of love and bestowal, what does knowledge of nature have to do with any of this as conditions for bestowal?
Because our entire world is built on hatred, whereas the spiritual world is opposite to ours. It's built on the qualities of love and bestowal. So we will, once we change these qualities from one to the other, we will feel completely different phenomenon, processes within us. And all this will be called the upper world.
Okay, but wait, it truly does say in all of these sources that there are evil inclination, there are two opposites. There is also a good force within, so we have two forces, the evil and the good, or only the evil one. What do Kabbalists say about this?
Where do you see the good force? I couldn't find it inside me.
Well, people have certain altruistic.
So we have these noble instincts for what? For what purpose? For ourselves, of course, for myself. So it's not good. It's profit for oneself, and if it wasn't profitable for you, then you would be doing evil to others.
I'd like to add, people have certain altruistic qualities, but they're not able to actually execute. So, alright, so I created evil inclination, and you say that that's it.
It's the nature of our world, the initial nature that we need to change, meaning the world is me. What I need to change, and only then will I exist in a different dimension. Until then, everything that I sense, including my dear friends here and around me, it all exists in my ego.
If you review Raf's Twitter today, you can see him writing on this topic about perception, self-perception. So where's this good force to balance out the evil one?
Only if you truly decide that you want to acquire it, and you start studying Kabbalah, it will gradually begin to be built in you. You will suddenly feel that you're acquiring qualities that cannot exist in you by definition, but you're beginning to acquire them.
So this bad state, I pierce it, and through that little hole, this upper light begins to drip.
Yes.
That is good. Okay, next bit. Excerpt, Baal Salam writes, in relation to the soul, a person reincarnates until he attains Kabbalah and the development of his soul, but the lack of knowledge that causes the undeveloped soul comes from nature. And the development of the soul depends on the knowledge of this nature. What is a soul? Ira from Kiev asks, what is a soul and what is developed within this soul?
The soul is a desire to love and bestow, which, to the measure of your, to the extent of your direction to it, is filled with the upper light. Thus, the soul comprises two parts, the kli, meaning the vessel, the desire to love and bestow, which is the desire, and the fulfillment, which is called the light. The light of bestowal, the light of love.
Max is asking how to understand that development of the soul depends on the level of its knowledge.
The soul's development depends on the level of its knowledge, is because knowledge and development in the soul is basically the same thing. What does it mean, knowledge? I know how to bestow, I know how to act for others, towards others. That's why knowledge is the force of the soul, its qualities.
What does inner nature of the soul?
The inner nature of the soul is truly the quality of love and bestowal that I acquire from the light. The truth is that the soul is the desire to receive, but when it begins to perceive the light, the desire begins to acquire an intention to do all this for the sake of another. That is the soul, meaning its opposite to our ego. If, while interacting with others, I'm thinking, what can I gain from it? Then the soul is that quality inside me, is that when I interact with others, it thinks, how can he profit? How can he gain from this?
So we're talking about other people.
If these aren't strangers, then you are fulfilling yourself.
Why do we need all of this? Let's say you can behave like this towards another person, but why?
In order to become one with the Creator.
This is his desire?
This is your desire.
He created me opposite.
This is his thought, his design, but he's also given you freedom of will. You can do it or you cannot.
It seems logical, but
why?
Why are all these people necessary?
If you're saying why, that means you're missing the greatness of the Creator, and you need a group in order to give you that thought.
In other words, to be like him.
To be like him, to be in adhesion with him. That is the goal of creation.
Can I imagine it this way? He has a certain quality.
Quality of love and bestowal.
And I, even though this quality is opposite to me, I want to be similar to him. That's enough to begin some sort of a process of advancement.
Yes, of course, that's more than enough. Typically, people begin from a state where they don't want to hear anything about the Creator. What kind of a Creator is this? What is this force that wants to love? So let it love. I don't really see it loving anything.
There are a lot of questions about this.
Let them send me a telegram, then I'll believe that it loves.
It doesn't see that the Creator loves.
Of course not. In order to give you freedom of will, so that you would fall in love with him.
But the fact that I feel him unloving, that's also from the Creator.
You cannot sense him as not loving.
So you can only feel him as a loving force.
Yes, of course. It's there's a wisdom behind it.
In this excerpt, we were talking about reincarnations. There's a question.
Let me just add to that. Imagine that you are in a world. You imagine the world, right? It's in you, this imagined world. So imagine that in this world you only see people that love you, that have a good attitude towards you. But all the other people in the world don't exist. They disappear as soon as someone doesn't love you, and he's gone. As soon as he appeared, then as soon as he starts loving you, to that extent, he becomes a character in your world.
So, he's completely wrapped in love, as inside of the mother.
Yes, this is the world, the future world we're creating within us.
That's how a Kabbalist feels? He lives in a world where everyone loves him.
Yes, I mean, it's the complete correction, but generally...
He's loved by everyone, or he loves everyone?
No, he feels that he is loved by everyone because he loves the Creator. It's called Kolets Mutatavarna.
With all your bones?
With every fiber of my being, I feel love.
If I'm asked, I'll say, I want it. I want to live like that. People often ask, is this not some sort of an illusion?
Of course it's an illusion. All of this is an illusion. But the thing is that we need to take this illusion and turn it into reality.
You heard there's a tale on this. Another question. How does the levels of the knowledge of the souls, how do they differ?
It's the different levels of the Creator's attainment. The thing is that we attain the Creator only to the extent we are similar to Him, just like everywhere else in this world. Basic physical laws. We have the forces of love and bestowal that are being emanated, and we need to attain these qualities within us. That's it. So, to the extent that we can create these qualities within us, to generate them, to that extent we will attain them under the law of equivalence of form. They exist already outside of me, and to the extent that we can become similar to them internally, we will attain them. The truth is that all of reality is filled with this quality of love and bestowal, but I personally, presently, do not attain it because I am opposite to it. To the extent that it becomes similar to it, equivalent to it, I will begin to attain it, and the upper world will start being revealed to me, and I will begin to exist in this quality.
And to approximate that picture that you were mentioning, where he's loved.
But why loved? Because I correct my qualities. So all the haters, I turn them to lovers.
So this hatred that was inside of me was corrected to love.
Yeah, but I don't see anything.
And the enemies?
They become closest beloved friends. He's the hero who turns hatred to love.
So they're saying that the biggest haters become the most loved ones.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the main questions here, Vladimir from Chicago is asking, which reincarnations are we talking about? What is reincarnated and what remains?
These reincarnations, they may happen at any time, any second. When one spiritual state turns to the next, that can be a reincarnation. It doesn't have anything to do. Doesn't have to do anything with our physical reincarnation, physical death. You can live this physical animal life without going through a single incarnation, or you can live through all the reincarnations and complete your life, your spiritual life, in complete correction, and still remain living in this physical body. One has nothing to do with the other.
So the switching of spiritual states is called a reincarnation.
Yes, a turnover in spiritual states is a reincarnation.
So it can happen suddenly. Okay.
Yes, very quickly.
So he says that something remains and something gets renewed during a reincarnation?
Yes, but it's very difficult. It's not for now. There are things in Kabbalah that you cannot just describe. I heard that Perelman, who proved, his theory, he first needed to write this thick book, an introduction as an introduction to his book where he's proven his theory. So before then, he needed to write this big math textbook. The same is similar to Kabbalah. You need to prepare the reader to have a common language, and then
there seems to be some sort of a crevasse between this quality of love
Just yourself. There is no abyss.
To love yourself and to love others. There's thousands of pages to read about this. Why?
It's the upper psychology that talks about how you can change yourself, how you can go from loving self to loving others.
What is the actual method? What do I need to do? Do I need to try to love others?
You need to try to connect with others on this attempt to unite. You'll see that you cannot actualize it. You cannot draw closer to others at all. All you can do is do physical actions, and then when you do those physical actions, you realize more and more that internally you're completely opposed to it. You despise, you are ready to do anything except to love another. To sit, you sit, and to eat, and to drink, and to hug. You cannot do it. What happens then? A person acquires a freedom of will. Am I going to move forward or no? Do I care about the thought of creation, the goal of creation, or not?
That's what I want to ask about. In Twitter today, you wrote, "What is love for yourself?" And it actually differs a lot from what a regular person thinks about it. Love for yourself is love for yourself. And you said there's something else. You said
What did I
that
write?
it's an aspiration towards the quality of bestowal. You need to read it. You need to read what does it mean, love for yourself. It's kind of a hatred towards yourself when you love yourself.
The greatest love of self is when I want to acquire the Creator.
That's love for yourself.
Yes, and I just want to grab him for myself.
So he would serve me?
For him to be my errand boy.
So it turns out that all people that ask something of the Creator, they're the biggest egoists.
Yeah, they hate the Creator, of course. They want him to serve them.
This is called hatred?
Yes, of course.
You just said this is love for yourself.
Yes, love of self, not love of the Creator.
But these are poor people. They simply ask the Creator to help them. Why do you say that this is the biggest egoism? They don't hate the Creator.
Are they thinking of themselves?
Yes, of course.
Why did he give them this state?
That's a problem. If someone would know,
We're always going to be coming back to the same issues here.
people don't know why the Creator sends them these problems. Maybe for some certain actions.
Friends, just figure out what kind of level you want me to explain these
One
things on.
is most basic level. Okay,
So your question.
So poor people are asking help of the Creator. Usually that's most people. We have certain problems. The question is, why is this action considered egoistic?
Are they turning to the Kabbalists?
They turning to the Creator.
To the psychologist, to the Creator?
To the Creator?
So then let them address the Creator. What do you want from me?
I'm just asking.
But if they're not, but if they're asking me, I'll tell them don't address the. He's the one who did it. The Creator gave this to you. So why does He want you to address Him? For you to simply ask Him, right? So the Creator is bad, right? They imagine Him as bad. He's hitting them. In order for them to turn to Him, is that the meaning of He is good that does good? Is that it?
Okay, that's how the picture is looking like.
So then the Creator is a little off.
Okay, so they're asking for the Creator to change in relation to them.
Yes.
That's what the person asks.
And He says no. He says you change, and then you will see how I change. I am absolute. I do not change. But if you change, you will see that I become better, and better, up to being completely, fully in love.
Okay, so there's a request to clarify this point of view. What does it mean that He wants me to change in relation to Him, not the Creator Himself?
When I change from being opposite to the Creator to being similar to Him, I span from the negative to the positive absolutely all of reality, everything created by the Creator, including all of His reverse and direct qualities, and then I become like Him.
And that is His desire.
Yes, that is His desire, for me to become like Him in eternity, in abilities, and absolutely everything.
Я должен весь этот круг пройти, все прочувствовать, да? Понятно. То есть собрать все эти страдания, все годы, тысячелетия.
Конечно,
собрать.
разве в этом во всем дело? Человек живет, умирает, живет, умирает.
Yes, a person needs to rise above everything that's happening here.
For the first time I see a city of Ufa that we've never seen before.
Right above them?
Привет, ребята.
Симпатичные ребята.
Hello, friends.
Oh, what nice-looking people.
Let's go. Anton from Bulgaria is asking, how after the fact that we see the Creator as bestowing, we receive pleasure?
He receives pleasure not from being fulfilled by a lack, like the way we do in this world. He receives pleasure from us receiving pleasure by giving him pleasure, contentment.
Вот Рита из Дубая спрашивает. Если
Question from Dubai.
Да. Если, у нас с вами Алекс на Аляске, у нас с вами...
We have people all over. This is Rita from Dubai. We had Alex from Alaska. Now, Rita from Dubai asks, if everything around me is a projection of what's inside of me, what is inside of you, Dr. Lightman? Who really exists, you or me?
Rav, inside of me, all of you exist. All of you are inside of me. And also in each one of you. All I want is through our communication for you to be able to communicate even closer with the Creator.
Question: if the Creator is revealed to a person in a good state, is that a lie, falsehood?
No, you need to see it in a different way. The main thing is for us not to distance ourselves from this connection with the Creator in any state. The main thing is connection with Him.
Question from Kaliningrad. Speaking of the Creator and beholding, perceiving oneself, what is the envy, jealousy of the Creator? How can I be jealous?
In the measure that I associate myself with the Creator, this feeling exists.
What is the Creator's jealousy?
The Creator is jealous. He's jealous towards us, paying attention only to Him.
That's going back to what you were saying before. He is just spurring us forward.
Yes. This is felt very precisely that any diversion of our attention from Him, His attitude immediately changes towards us, so that to balance out, to establish most optimally our connection with Him. He's very jealous.
So any lack of attention towards Him, He spots right away.
Yes. A person assigns such qualities to the Creator.
What do you mean? Like the Creator can have these feelings? What?
When we talk about a certain behavior, if we're talking absolutely, then there's nothing to talk about, which is why the Creator reveals Himself in relation to us in this way, in such a way that we begin to feel Him as a companion, as a partner, a teacher, something towards which we can tie ourselves, relate ourselves to, and be in this mutual communication.
How does the Kabbalist actually perceive other people, right? He has the Creator, he's communicating with Him.
Between us, there are no other people. There's no one else. I am by myself.
That sounds kind of boring.
No, I'm not bored. Everyone's inside of me.
To clarify, what is this interaction with the Creator, communication with Him? Do you talk? Do you argue? What do you do?
Communication with the Creator is built on a constant search, a search of a constant, consistent contact up until the point of adhesion, and everything else is viewed as certain information, motivation that's necessary for complete adhesion with Him.
Maybe you can say again, like when we talk again about the knowledge, the soul, the
Knowledge of the Creator.
What is meant by that? The Creator.
Knowledge of the Creator means a knowledge of all of those desires and qualities, intentions within which I can feel Him inside of myself in an unbound way.
Продолжается статья. Каждая совершенная душа постигает все души.
The article continues. Every independent soul attains all the other souls in the Dhamma Rishon. Thus,
Или сторонится их, или объединяется с ними, и они существуют.
the man works with the knowledge given to him, and it's not surprising that man can acquire all the souls around him, and there is a full attainment and no death and no limits.
Okay, what's not clear here? All limitations are within me. Gradually I erase these limitations. Through that, I get closer to the Creator in this way. It's this illusion of nearness, distance.
What are limits on the person?
I'm limited with my intention to bestow.
So the desire to receive for oneself is limited in the person.
Yes, of course, up until complete concealment of the Creator from me.
Adam from Florida asks, what is the spiritual period or the spiritual distance between Adam Rishon and complete correction?
This process is a process of damaged egoistic matter that needs to go through realization of evil, recognition of evil, up until realization of complete adhesion with the Creator.
So this is a cycle?
The cycle is called, yes, the cycle is called 6,000 years of existence of this world.
Why is there no death in spirituality, but there is in corporeality? And I'll ask, it should be a projection, right? A copy of the spiritual world. So, or is there a death in the spiritual world as well? Is there such a state?
Depending on what you mean by death. Death in the spiritual world. Death in the spiritual world is determined with a complete exhaustion of light from desire. While in the corporeal world, similar to that, the exhaustion of life force from the physical body.
Then it's not called spiritual, right? Or it's still the spiritual world? Or is this person saying to himself, like, I currently don't have a light? Is this conscious?
In the spiritual world, this is a very, very aware state.
A person can determine, right? Like right now, I'm in a state where I don't have any light. Okay, so a question. I thought that Kabbalah is the wisdom, the science of acquiring others, attaining the Creator. Why do I need to connect with others?
These are parts of your soul. You don't need anything. You don't attain anything that you don't need. You need to attain your entire soul. It represents a connection of all souls throughout all time, in all states. Them you need to connect within yourself, and then you will represent Adam in relation to the Creator. This state is what you need to attain, and for that you need to be completely connected with everyone, with all the souls, but you don't need to wait for them to correct themselves. You need to correct them within yourself.
So you need to do this work. Okay, question for Tbilisi. Who attains evil or recognizes, realizes evil?
Who recognizes evil? The evil one recognizes the evil inside of him, that which is called the evil one. He recognizes evil inside of himself, in the measure that he turns out to be a righteous one.
Ah, that's interesting. So when he recognizes evil, he is called righteous.
Yes.
And until then, he was what?
Before that, he was nobody. He didn't recognize anything. He could not have said that he was evil before. Why? No one have told you this. You need to understand that when a person feels himself as a sinner, in that same measure, he's already a righteous.
That would make a good tweet. A question from Moldova. When a person reaches the private correction, personal correction, what kind of work can he do in this world? Can he still be like a sailor or
whoever you
pilot?
want to be? Whoever you want to be, as long as you can bring good to others. You shouldn't work in jobs where you harm others.
We're talking about perfect souls. Are there souls that are not perfect?
Until they're corrected, they're considered imperfect.
Question: the rishumot of our souls, do they leave a certain imprint on us at the end of correction? The records of our future soul.
Absolutely, everything remains. All states, from all of the souls, all kinds of combinations of these souls between themselves, all of this remains, exists. There even exist certain formulas of interconnections. But this is not for us to discuss today. We will try to deal with it at another time.
A question about the method itself, right? We meet here once a week. The students that are here currently, they may be following us certain lessons, they're reading. What else can they do? How can one change himself? What is the method?
The Creator gave us a very simple method. He created the evil inclination. This evil was revealed as a result of the shattering of one vessel into many parts. This vessel that consisted of 10 parts, it was shattered into billions and billions of pieces. And an opportunity is given to us to collect these pieces and make them similar to the Creator. In this way, a quality of love and bestowal is attained, love towards your friend, from love of friend to love of the Creator. A 10 is gathered, and within itself, in these common qualities between them, they need to create similarity to the Creator. And then a Creator is revealed inside of it. That's the entire method. There's nothing else.
Okay, but this, a 10 can gather once a week, once a day, but what about the rest of one's life? You just live?
There's no other life. Nothing else matters. The main thing is a connection inside of the 10, to make it similar to the Creator.
What about kids, work, etc.?
All of these are external events.
So there I need to just live just as I was instructed to?
Act according to how you were taught, and then through attaining new spiritual qualities, this will organize, this will tell you how to behave in the 10 and in the external world.
So I have a question. Can you have a kind of type of education where we study, like someone shares some sort of situation in life, we discuss it, and we give advices?
What advices are you talking about? What am I,
Well, what
some sort
advice
of
can... That's what I'm asking.
am I some sort of an old woman that predicts the future? I can't give you any advices. All I can do is clarify to a person the method of his personal correction, to give him an advice what to do in order to correct himself. But I'm not going to correct him. He will correct himself.
Of course. Look, everything comes from the Creator, from one force. A person is given all sorts of states that manifest in various situations in life. He sends us the situation, and we try to figure it out, clarify it together.
And then what?
Then he'll understand how to relate to it correctly.
That's why you need this method, to explain to him how to act correctly. I see that you're an athlete, right? I can see. Can your coach do your exercises for you?
No, of course, but there's no need.
So what does he need to do?
He tells me how to do them.
Same thing here. Just do it.
In 2002, I remember the American tour that we did with Rav. There was no internet yet, and we packed all the auditoriums, and there was a person who came, who he had this drum that he would beat his drum to just scatter the crowd. So, or gather the crowd. So that's if we could do that. Americans were coming. Tons of them were coming.
He was a known shaman. He was advertised thoroughly. Maybe we should try this.
Yeah, get a drum. Then we can go anywhere we want. But you didn't answer the question. You're talking about, like, the method talks about the general forces of nature, but can you tell specifically to a person what to do?
No, we tell him. How many articles are there about the group? There's no.
In the group, no, but people are asking what to do in the world.
Forget this world. Leave it alone. You can't do anything with it. Just prevent yourself. The world will be better from your inaction. Just sit there and don't do anything. It's more preferable.
So humanity, like 2% of humanity can work, as you write, and the rest of them don't have to.
Of course, you don't need any of that. Just sit there quietly. Take your textbooks, take the group, and begin to act.
No, that's all understandable. That's
Where
clear.
is it not clear?
In the world.
In the world today, it will be better if you don't do anything. Don't disturb the entropy.
Just don't try to reform the world. Question from Omata. Does the Creator need to know does the Creator know what kind of decision I will make in advance or not? And does He punish me or reward me afterwards?
The Creator makes a choice that you make yourself later.
I see. He's always ahead of me. Question: if the whole world is within me, then time is within me. You remember you saying once that time doesn't exist, the next moment is within you as well. Can you give an advice how to approach this?
There is no next moment. That's it. There's nothing else.
Потом наступает следующий.
What do we do with that?
Act according to this. There is no time. There is only a moment of my complete connection with the Creator. That's it. Nothing else. Freeze.
I don't even want to say anything now. But can you say that if I find pleasure in a certain action, time disappears?
Time is a psychological phenomenon. What is time?
Tell us again, what is time in Kabbalah?
Time in Kabbalah is a frequency of changes of spiritual states, not a watch.
And if these states change quickly?
That means time is going fast.
So if I don't get the payment for whatever the action, then it means it's very slow, and if I get it right away, then it's fast?
That is a unit of time, and this is a unit of time.
So then
If your reward is merged with the action, is inside of the action itself is a reward, then there is no time.
That's what we call the spiritual world?
Yes.
So the spiritual world is when I do, for instance, for the Creator's sake or for another person,
That is your reward.
and I don't expect anything in return.
There's no such thing as waiting. The action itself is a reward.
And if I am waiting, you're expecting, that's our corporeal
Yes,
world.
then you descend into our world.
And this is the moment in time that we talked about.
Yes.
So if we were sitting here, with Kabbalists, I don't want to maybe address this specifically to you, but right now, this moment, this second is the best second of his life.
Of
He's not
course.
even thinking about the future.
No, we are in a state when he is in his personal, individual state, and he's also in a common state. There is a Kabbalist needs to think about the general correction.
So he's expecting certain improvements, changes.
He acts, his actions towards the general correction is a reward. If the Creator gives him such an opportunity, then he rewards him by that.
Александр из Ростова. А каббалист может препятствовать
Question from
истечению света из
Rostov. Can a Kabbalist prevent the flowing of light into desire? Can you control the light?
No, not from your desire.
Question from Odessa. Why do we have the fear of not receive the upper light?
My dear, this is egoism. You should not deal with these things. Think only about connection with others. Within them, from within them, you will attain the upper light.
Владимира, постижение чьей-то души мною привносит
From
изменения.
Vladimir, a question. Attaining the soul of another brings pleasure to the one who does the fulfillment?
No, don't build anything upon this. Don't depend on other souls. None of that exists. Everything is inside of you. A person needs to imagine himself as the only character in this world, a free one.
Question from Altai. How can the evil inclination be the source of misery in the world where the Creator governs everything?
Yes, but we distort his actions, which is why we see this world as imperfect. The world is a reflection of an upper light, the complete good and benevolent, entering into our qualities in the inverse.
Okay, so what this rule that we're talking about, love your friend as yourself, meaning you still need to learn how to love yourself?
No, there's nothing you can learn from this. Everyone loves himself with his entire fibers of his broken soul.
But not everyone agrees with this.
That doesn't matter.
But it's attainment when a person attains this, realizes it.
He'll be convinced over time that this is his only inner quality, self-love.
Why is it hidden, concealed from a person?
It's hidden from a person because he still wants to respect himself somehow. But if you'd give him complete freedom, then he would absolutely discover this quality and demonstrate it to everyone else. I love myself. What about others? Others I don't love, I use them. A person that is not afraid can say these things.
So my question is, this love of self, this realization, is this shown, so this is how I need to love another, my
Yes.
friend?
Yes.
Like more or less?
Oh, I don't know how to kind of love yourself. Love yourself. Love your friend in the measure that you love your friend. With that measure, you cannot love yourself. You only have one love.
Well, question, the transfer of the world into myself, does that happen with this quality of love?
Yes, yes.
Из Хельсинки. А что это такое?
Question about adhesion. What from Helsinki? What is adhesion, and how do you feel it, perceive it?
Adhesion is felt as an existence in one desire. That is what all these lyricists sing about, but they only sing about it.
When they want the same thing?
Existence in one desire.
Make your desires his desire. A question from Ulyanos. How can corrected, perfect people live in this uncorrected, imperfect world? Is living in this world for them sorrowful and misery and suffering as well? They perceive all of the world suffering, right?
It's true, it is difficult.
Okay, so question from me. We're talking about good things here, right? We're talking about love and unity, and I thought to myself, like, I wouldn't send this discussion to my associates, those who don't study Kabbalah.
You're the ones that are creating these topics. I'd like to appeal to our listeners. Please request the topics that you want. Maybe these topics that we're covering are not interesting to you, and we will work in accordance to that. Do you receive them?
Yes, we do.
This is what they want?
Are there any topics in Kabbalah that don't have to do with love or bestowal?
Are there such topics? Well, attainment of reality, structure of worlds. It's the hierarchy of the Partsufim or souls. There's a lot of stuff, but these are spiritual mechanics. Divisions into various Sfirot, Kalkaltina Machab, the entering of light, all kinds of spiritual states, but this doesn't relate to us. This is a lot higher than where we're at now.
I still want to say that Rabash and Salam never were ashamed to write this word again and again.
Kabbalah writes about love for 6,000 years. Kabbalists are like that. Well,
maybe about friendship.
Friendship is between friends in order to attain love between themselves and love towards the Creator. But love here is not the love that you're afraid of or you dream about. It's a different type of love. It is called adhesion of intentions, goals, similarity, complete understanding, mutual understanding, a movement in unison. I'm not sure how to express this. When desires come together.
You mean when bodies disappear?
I'm not even talking about bodies. From the first spiritual degree, we're not talking about bodies.
Alright, we're talking about the connection, unification of points in the heart, right?
Yes, yes.
Another question from America. Dear teacher, when you say that no one else exists aside from myself, doesn't that make you feel lonely?
And what about you inside of me? No. A feeling of loneliness does not occur because a person needs to feel himself in this world as he's the only one together with the Creator. And it's truly so. Each one of us needs to feel himself in this way. Until we unite between each other completely, and all together we represent one body, one desire.
We have just one announcement. Literally a month from now, we are starting a new online course. We have a comment here from Marina who said, I've been looking for Kabbalah and looking to see where to start studying. So here is where we want to invite you to start studying with us from April 13th. It will have webinars and lessons and materials, and so please register. So perhaps your thoughts, your impressions?
What are my thoughts? I'd like to act upon your requests, your desires. I recommend for you to read my Twitter account. I write daily lots of tweets. And I hope that you'll be able to get a lot of new things from there. And what else? Until next time.
So just answer the question, Igor from Chelyabinsk. How much time do you need to study a day and of the science? How much effort do you need to exert?
Well, his free time. Free time is called that time which you can dedicate to this when you're free and others don't command you. Good luck, and we'll meet in 1 week.